How's the area treating you?
I'm cool, man. I've been here since played the Black Cat a long time ago. This was a really indie club back in the day. I remember some of the members of Fugazi was at the show. You know Fugazi?
Oh yeah, waiting room.
Yeah, and we played here. The Cocktail Twins a while back, and then Concrete Blonde, Jason Mary Chain a while back. You know, it was back in the 80s, 87, 88. No, I'm sorry, not 90, yeah, somewhere around 90, something like that. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so I've always wondered, how did playing in church influence your style?
Oh, it influenced me because none of the other older black kids that were playing in church, they had to play. They made them play with the family. So a lot of the technique came from like R&B, stuff like that, and it just kind of happened naturally. Like, because a lot of the R&B stuff came from, that stuff like Curtis Mayfield and, Son House, all the blues stuff from back in the day, So it all comes together kind of like that, It's like somebody would say, how would you describe Curtis Mayfield? It's just like, well, Jimi Hendrix, you say it'd be like Curtis Mayfield, but it turned up loud, basically.
That's another question too. There's this one DC. One of the many exports of culture is The Quiet Storm from WQR.
Yeah, they talk.
Oh, yeah.
The Quiet Storm, yeah. Yeah, let me tell you something. DC, I first went to a show in DC here in 1983 with Trouble Funk, and it was a hardcore punk band called Minor Threat.
Oh yeah.
And it was like at an empty shopping center downtown somewhere, man. That's the first time I got exposed to the cross-cultural thing like that. It was really early for that too, you know what I'm saying? Go-go was getting, really big, at the time, So a lot of my friends drove up to see that show, and it was a great experience with that, man. I miss stuff like that,
Yeah. What songs by the Veldt did you imagine hearing on The Quiet Storm?
The Quiet Storm is definitely like the roots of what we do, because, like it used to be like this college station in Raleigh, Shaw University said, brothers and sisters, welcome to The Quiet Storm. We all need an attitude adjustment. And they play something like Luther Vandross or something like that,
Or Renee and
Angela, something like that, going my way.
Yeah.
So it makes perfect sense that we would make it into like music that would be, just kind of fluid like that, like Cocktail Twins or like,
Have you ever heard that Come My Way by Renee and Angela? That's pure shoegaze.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Like, and then you got the early 70s, like, if loving you is wrong, I don't want that kind of psychedelic soul kind of thing, you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
I've always had this, it's funny you mentioned that song. I've always felt like New Dawn Phase was kind of the gothier version of that song.
New Dawn Phase?
New Dawn Phase by Joy Division.
Oh!
If you listen to it back to back, I was like, why does it sound familiar?
Oh. Cause they got,
I was told post-punk was almost like British Arts kids putting a heroin needle down and pick up like a couple Luther Vandross. Let's get funky a little bit.
Yeah, exactly, man. And you got like Barry White, and then you got like
I Found Someone.
Yeah.
Never have I found a like you, girl. Think about you turn it up loud. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. Luther Vandross was doing glam rock. If you think about it.
Basically,
yeah.
He was singing back for David Bowie.
Yeah, exactly. The boy put him on.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, he put him on, man. And also you got like stuff like who else was doing this shit like that? The Stylistics.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like you remember hey love.
Oh yeah.
Shoegaze.
Exactly.
So
Especially that one R&B group with the In the Rain song, the Delane guitar.
Yeah.
So the elements have always kind of been there,
Yeah. Well, you ever this guy named Delic before? There's a brother named Delic. He does stuff like that too, but he's a DJ. He uses feedback and shit on loops, and he's an MC. Mm-hmm. So his thing is like he produced one of the tracks we did on the Spanakopita CD that we did.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's really the progenitor of that kind of amalgamation of music like that. Like Flying Saucer Attack and shit like that.
That song we have called Forever Green.
Forever Green.
Ecology. So we put it in the middle. It's kind of, you can hear it kind of like from Marvin Gaye,
Yeah.
It makes total sense.
Because all that noise at the end of it. It's kind of weird, you know.
It's kind of gothic, you know, like
Yes.
I always thought it was kind of scary. Like, why do you put that in it?
Yeah, like.
There was
The
a
chill
lot of
factor.
theremin use during that time too.
Yeah, and a lot of like
started experimenting
yeah,
with
right.
theremin.
yeah. You hit like the what they call it the sitar guitar.
Yeah.
The sitar.
Yes. Yes. Well, ain't nothing new.
But we just took it and ran.
You took it and ran with it.
It makes
Look,
sense.
look, and stole from these guys.
I mean, it's
Come on, man.
like, it's like if you think about it, it's like there was a bridge with R&B and rock. It's like, okay, I'll put it this way. I always felt like one tour I wish would have happened would be Thin Lizzy and the Isley Brothers, because they're almost like doing the same coin, you know?
Yeah, man.
So
God bless his soul.
yeah, so I feel like
You know?
the fusion of R&B and like like rock. I know it's kind of redundant to say that. It makes sense actually looking back too. I've heard an interview a while back when you guys did a show with Fishbone and Dirty Walt said it's like you remind me of The Cure a little bit.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So I've always kind of like, you know what? I can hear it, but I've always wondered, was The Cure an influence on y'all, or was it a parallel?
Oh God, you was.
Yeah, man.
When I first started the band in junior high school, I started with a guy named Robert Jackson. It was just me and him. He was in hardcore bands. He joined later on, and there were three of us. And I was listening a lot to the Top by The Cure, and then on the top, you can hear a song called "Dressing Up, Dressing Up," boom boom, boom boom. And I was like, damn. What? In my mind, I wasn't really thinking if I sing it so much. I think I would like to sing it, but I would like to sing it this way.
Yeah.
You know, without even being cognizant of it, because and then later on, my brother joined the band, and then we became the Veldt. Okay.
What was the difference between the Veldt and
Nothing.
Lights?
Well, actually,
So
I started doing demos in New York. I was working for this guy that worked with Wu-Tang Clan, and I was playing on this song called "Shishilla Ghost," and at the Wu-Tang studio, and I was working with Dead Prez on Selling Dope. That they did a song in a movie called Slam.
I remember.
So I began to do like session work for a bunch of hip hop people, like for Lyricist Lounge, and so I got my first idea. Well, it wasn't the first idea, but we began to use loops and things like that. And Carlos Best from Wu-Tang Clan was an engineer, and so he did this. It's on the track right on the new Spanakopita that he kind of put it through all these things, man. He was an engineer on dun 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 dun. Was it Wu-Tang Forever? He was an engineer, so I was his session guitar player for a while. Yeah, I walked into the studio one day and Ghostface was in there. He had a big ass hawk on his arm like
the
that.
eagle.
Yeah. And I was walking out, and they were watching the Klan rally, because the Klan that came to New York. What? Oh yeah, they came to New York, and I was watching it. He said, "You work here?" I said, "Yeah, I'm doing the guitar on Shishilla Ghost." Yeah, right. He ain't pay me no mind whatsoever though, man. I didn't get paid for it either, so well, I'm like, fuck it. But it was a good experience. The Lyricist Lounge, we did the track with Mos Def too as well that was never released.
Oh, Marty Mark. That's like guitar player. We call him Marty Mark.
Yeah, we did some. I did a lot of stuff with Lyricist Lounge, man. You know.
Got 5 minutes?
Yeah.
all right, so we got 5 minutes. So what memories do both of you have? That stand up during the recording of Illuminate in 1989.
Illuminated? There was.
Oh, that was in 89.
That was 89.
89.
89. Yeah.
We stole that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. It was on Capitol, and
The guy from Compton produced it.
yeah, Robin Guthrie produced that.
Yeah.
But it was one of the best experiences of our life.
Yeah.
Every day in the studio in the UK, new people come to the studio, like
Lush.
talking about Lush or
A.R. Kane.
A.R. Kane.
You know A.R. Kane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
But the real deal now is the longevity. It's a new band called Whitelands. You know Whitelands? Whitelands is great.
Great band.
Yeah.
You know. A lot of. It's so good to see a lot of young black kids into it now because, like you said, I was in my room, just looking at their stuff, putting on the records and whatnot, and being called faggot, punk, white boy, all these kind of things.
All the
you know.
time.
But then the fact that the so-called fags and the punks were the ones that were taking us in and trading music. Hey man, what's going on? They were accepting us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Those are the ones that didn't make fun of us.
Yeah.
Or they got signed a Bad Boy.
Yeah. Somebody did.
Never mind.
Yeah,
Cut that one out.
Bad boy. I mean, there was a transition at that point in time where you really couldn't even get your foot into like the door with that kind of music.
Yeah.
Like that, you know?
I know, right?
Couldn't give it away.
Yeah.
But now like everybody's on it now, so it's
I
good.
know, right?
It's good. It's good to see that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Yeah.
You know, a lot of people live that life. A lot of people live. Some people do cosplay and all kind of shit like that. But this is 24/7 right here. You know?
Exactly. Great example. She's.
This is actually being the most casual.
This is casual Friday for her.
I believe it. I believe it. You know, I mean, there's a lot of young kids that are going to look up to people like us.
Exactly.
They're afraid to come out either sexually or style wise, because of what they believe in. You know what I'm saying?
That was hard.
Yeah, man.
Especially from your own kind. You get it mostly from your own kind.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know.
That's they never supported us. But you know, there were kids from the neighborhood who were like, yo man, what's best for y'all? Some of them do.
Some of them do.
Exactly.
You
On
know?
the low.
Yeah. But by and far, I don't know, it was our own kind and didn't really accept it.
Exactly. But I always kind of felt like there was always somebody around like us, you know, but just didn't know it. Like, all right, I don't know why. I always get these weird things on my right ear. Does any Boston Field sound familiar to y'all?
Boston Phil? Yeah.
Yeah.
I know him. No, Boston. Yeah, I do know him. Yeah.
All right, cool. Just, I don't know why it's something in my ear that's all.
We
gotta go, y'all.
Okay.
Well, we can continue afterwards if you want.
Yeah.
Let's talk afterwards.
Yeah, please.